الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear respected brothers and sisters, inshallah ta'ala, tonight we're going to study together one of the aspects of the people of Jahiliyyah. The people of Jahiliyyah is the pre-Islamic era, before the coming of Islam, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the people, they were upon darknesses. So the people of Jahiliyyah, those people who lived at that time, whether they were from the Arabs or they were from the non-Arabs, they have certain aspects that they are known by. And Islam came to abolish those aspects that the mushrikeen were upon. For example, the most dangerous of them all and the most serious of them all is them taking intermediaries. As Allah said about them in Surah Yunus. Wa alaykum salam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about them in Surah Yunus, وَيَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَضُرُّهُمْ وَلَا يَنْفَعُهُمْ وَيَقُولُونَ هَؤُلَاءِ شُفَعَاؤُنَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. And they worship beside Allah that which will not benefit them, nor will it harm them. And they say these are our intercessors with Allah. So they use Al-Lat wal-Uzza wa Manat as intercessors. Allah did not accept that from them, because this is shirk. This is shirk. So likewise, the grave worshippers who worship Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jailani, Al-Sayyid al-Badawi, Al-Sayyida Zainab, and other than them, from so-called al-awliya or salihin, and this person actually, they are following the way of the mushrikeen of the past. This is the way of the days of ignorance. So we're studying this book so that we can learn what they were upon, and also at the same time we can avoid it. And the Muslim poet, he said, عرفت الشر لا للشر ولكن لتوقيه ومن لم يعرف الشر يقع فيه. So the Muslim poet, he said, I have come to know about evil not for the sake of evil, but I have come to know about evil so that I can stay away from it. Because if you don't know that which is bad, you may fall into it. If someone does not know the difference between Tawheed and Shirk, he may fall into what? Shirk, right or wrong. Because this person has no criteria, he doesn't know how to differentiate. ليس عنده فرقان. He doesn't have a furqan, a criterion with which he can differentiate between the truth and falsehood. He doesn't have that. So he may fall into shirk. Likewise, when it comes to sunnah and bid'ah, sunnah and innovation, if someone doesn't know the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he doesn't know bid'ah, he doesn't know innovation, most likely this person may fall into innovation while he does not know. He does not even realize that he is falling into it, because he doesn't have knowledge and he doesn't have that insight. من يريد الله به خيرا يفقهه في الدين. When Allah intends good for a servant, He bestows upon him or her the understanding of the religion. It's very important to understand the religion and to know the way of the mushrikeen, what they were upon, so that we can avoid those aspects. This is the intent of studying this book. And when you look at it, all these books of the Shaykh, rahimahullah, محمد بن عبد الوهاب, whether it is الأصول الثلاث, القواعد الأربع, the 4 rules, كشف الشبهات, removing the doubts, the 6 fundamental principles, كتاب التوحيد, and other beneficial books of the Shaykh, books that deal with the affairs of al-Aqidah. All of them, they focus upon one aspect of Tawheed, one category of Tawheed. Which one is it? Anybody knows? Which one is it? Which category of Tawheed Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab focused on? Which one? Tawheed what? Yes, al-uluhiyya or al-ibadah. You can say Tawheed al-uluhiyya or Tawheed al-ibadah. What is Tawheed al-uluhiyya? Adam, what is it? What is Tawheed al-uluhiyya?
I'm just going to guess. Don't guess.
No, you can't guess. Knowledge is based upon knowledge, not guess.
No,
There's no guesswork.
I remember the English. I don't know the...
Yes, say it in English.
Okay, say it in English.
It is the lordship of being worshipped?
No.
No?
No, not lordship. No. You're confused.
No.
Okay, I'm going to explain. When it comes to Tawheed, we have 3 categories. Remember this. We have 3 categories of Tawheed. Please don't mix them up. We have Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. The unity of lordship. Unity of lordship. Okay, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, you single out Allah alone as your Lord, as your creator, as your sustainer, as your provider, and so on and so forth. This is called what? Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Okay, was the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the other messengers before him, were they sent for this type of Tawheed or not? Were they sent to establish this Tawheed or to call the people to it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wrong. You see, that's why I told you to pay attention. Wrong. No. The messengers, peace be upon them, they were not sent to teach the people Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Rather, they were sent to teach the people Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, the unity of worship. Why? Because Tawheed al-Rububiyyah was not an issue for the mushrikeen. You have to understand that. The mushrikeen, the polytheists, those who worshipped idols, Lat wal-Uzza wa Manat, they didn't have an issue with the unity of lordship. That was not an issue with them. You know what's the proof and evidence? And can anybody give me an ayah from the Quran? What's the proof and evidence that they didn't have an issue with the unity of lordship? Anybody knows? Remember this. I'm going to give you 2 ayats. Remember. Allah said, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَهُمْ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. Remember this. If you ask them, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who created them? Who created who? The mushrikeen. They would say Allah. That was not an issue. Another ayah, Allah said, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. If you ask them, who created the heavens and the earth? They would say, Allah. طيب? So, did this Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, did it enter them into Islam or not?
No.
Why? Why it did not?
Because it's how they worship is different. They
Okay, can you go into
seek,
detail?
for example, they seek intermediaries.
Yes, because they committed shirk. To be more specific,
Yeah.
they committed shirk in what? In what?
Worship.
In Tawheed al-Rububiyyah or Uluhiyyah?
Uluhiyyah.
Uluhiyyah, worship. They use what?
Idols.
Idols, Allat, wal-Uzza, wa Manat, and others. So they use them as what?
Intermediaries.
Intermediaries. Okay, what are intermediaries?
Something that they, yeah.
Like the middleman.
The middleman.
The
try to talk
middleman.
to
Like,
Allah.
for example, in worldly affairs, you want to do business with a man, right? So this man, you cannot do business with him directly. You need someone as an intermediary, as a middleman, to facilitate the transaction for you. That's a middleman. In worldly affairs, you can have a middleman. There's no issue. In the worldly affairs, you can have a middleman. But when it comes to the deen, can you have a middleman? You cannot. You cannot have a middleman when it comes to worshiping Allah. Like for example, when it comes to dua, can you ask the Messenger of Allah to carry your dua across to Allah? You can't. But some people, they do that. They ask the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to act as an intermediary, an intercessor, right? They call upon him. Or they call upon Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jailani. Or they call upon Sayyid al-Badawi. They say, Madad, Madad ya Badawi. That's what they say. They say, help us ya Badawi. Okay, now who helps? Who can help?
Allah.
Allah. Now when you're asking someone who is dead, he cannot even hear you. Right? When you ask him to help you out, this is shirk billah. Because seeking assistance is what? Is an act of what?
Worship.
Worship. Likewise, tawakkul. Tawakkul ala Allah is an act of worship. So anyone who relies on al-awliya, al-salihin, when he's in deep trouble, when they are drowning, they call upon Sheikh Abdul Qadir. Ya Sheikh Abdul Qadir, rescue me. Wal-iyadu billah. This is shirk billah. Because the only one who can rescue you is Allah. Sheikh Abdul Qadir, he will not be able to do that. And even if he was alive, he's not going to be able to do that. Only Allah can do that. The Prophet and messengers, they cannot do that. The angels, they cannot do that. Only Allah can do that. And if Allah sent you someone to help you, that person is a mean. But the one actually who helped you is Allah. But he used him as a mean. You get it? طيب. So we need to understand Tawheed. So all the books of the Shaykh, they focus upon what? Tawheed what? Uluhiyya. Because Tawheed Rububiyyah was not an issue for the mushrikeen. Even the grave worshippers today. You say, who's your Lord? Say, Allah. Who created you? Say, Allah. Then why are you calling Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jailani? They say, well, we're sinners. We commit a lot of sins. So Shaykh Abdul Qadir, he has a big status with Allah. So look how the shaitan tricks them. You see? No. You cannot just take your request to Allah just like that. No. It doesn't work like that. It will be rejected. So you have to go through the Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jailani, because he is from al-awliya, al-salihin, from those who are very close to Allah. So you need to go through him. You understand? This is what the shaitan tricks them. As Allah said in the Quran, وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ وَأَعْمَالَهُم. And the shaitan, he made their affair fair seeming to them. You see how the shaitan does? Say, no, you're not worshipping Shaykh Abdul Qadir. No, you're not worshipping him. You're just using him as an intermediary to take your dua to Allah. Look how the shaitan is very tricky. You see? And that's why when you ask them, no, we're not worshipping Shaykh Abdul Qadir. Okay, then what are you doing now? You're calling upon him. Isn't that worship? If that's not shirk, I don't know what shirk is. If that's not shirk, I don't know what shirk is. طيب. The Shaykh said the 99 aspect. 99 aspect. Being mesmerized by the worldly life. You know mesmerize, this word, right? What is mesmerize? Anybody know?
Like hypnotized?
Hypnotized, yes. Hypnotized by this word. And there are so many people like that. They're so mesmerized by this world that they forget about the akhirah. Allah protect us. عظمة الدنيا في قلوبهم كقولهم وقالوا لولا نزل هذا القرآن على رجل من القريتين عظيم. And the worldly life was glorified in their hearts. So this is from the way of who? The mushrikeen. The way of those of the people of Jahiliyyah. As is found in his saying. And he said, why is this Quran not sent down to some great men of the two towns, means Mecca and Ta'if? Surah Zukhruf. Shaykh Salih ibn Fawzan, Hafidahullah Ta'ala, he said, from the characteristics of the people of the days of ignorance, is that the worldly life was magnified and considered grand to them. So according to them, the one who possessed worldly status was considered distinguished and honorable. And doesn't this remind you of some people, many people? They're like this, right? If you are not like from the elite, they will not even give you the salam, right? They will look down on you. Right or wrong? This is very true. This is very true. And one of the Salaf, I think Imam Shabi, if I'm not mistaken, one time he came to an invitation. He said, no, you are not well dressed. So Imam Shabi, I believe Shabi, or Al-A'mash, I can't remember. I believe it was more Imam Shabi. So he went back and he wore fine clothes, very good clothes. He said, hey, come on. They let him in. So when he went inside and they put the food on, they started picking up the food and telling his clothes to eat. Because it's not me who entered the clothes, you see. So some people are like that, wal-iyadu billah. They're so mesmerized by the dunya. So, for example, when it comes to marriage, they would rather marry their daughter to somebody who is very wealthy, very luxurious person, even though he could be a drunkard, wal-iyadu billah. Could be someone who drinks alcohol, someone who gambles, and all that. They don't have a problem with that. And they will speak highly about that person, right? He has this, he has that. They don't care about his deen. They don't care about if he prays 5 times a day and things like that. No. They don't want to hear that. May Allah protect us from that. طيب. They would even apply this concept to the divine message, which Allah gives to whom He wills. They held that the message should only be given to one of the rich and not to one from among the poor. Look at this. And look at the time of Bani Israel in Surah Al-Baqarah, when Bani Israel, they complained to their prophets, a prophet that came after Musa, peace be upon him. What is his name? Anybody knows?
Elijah?
No. Samuel. Okay. Samuel, his people complained to him, the children of Israel, because Goliath and his army, they would invade their town and kill and capture their women, and capture the man also and kill them. So they went to their prophet Samuel. They asked him to ask Allah to select a leader for them so that they can fight Goliath. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He chose for them a shepherd. This man was a shepherd. And his name is Talut. Allah mentioned him in the Quran, Talut, in Surah Al-Baqarah. طيب. Talut was a shepherd. So when Allah chose Talut for them, they made a fuss about it. They said, أَنَّا يَكُونُ لَهُ الْمُلْكُ عَلَيْنَا وَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِالْمُلْكِ مِنْهِ. How can he be a king over us? We are more worthy to be a king than him. What did their prophet Samuel said? He said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاهُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَزَادَهُ بَسْطَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ وَاللَّهُ يُؤْتِي مُلْكَهُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. So he told them, Allah has chosen him over you, and he has given him physical strength, because that's what you need as a leader in the warfare, right or wrong. You have to be strong. The leader cannot be weak. زَادَهُ بَسْطَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ. He has increased him in knowledge of warfare and also in his physical stature. Then Talut, those who were running their mouth, he took them to undergo one of the hardest tests. So he said to them that Allah has tested you with the river. So you're going to go with me for training, for the war with Goliath. So this river, Allah has tested you with it. Whoever has his fill and drank until he's full, he goes back. He does not go with me. Except the one who took a little bit in the hollow of his hand. That one is okay. But what did Allah say? فَشَرِبُوا مِنْهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْهُ. Majority of them, they drank from the river, except a few. Right? So they had to go back. Disqualified. Done. If you cannot pass the test here, you will not be able to pass the test when you have to face a giant and his army, huge army. So there were only a few who were left. But the real consideration is not in number. In what? Iman and being upon the truth. Being upon the truth. Your Iman. You be steadfast. You don't shake up. You're like a mountain. You don't shake up. Then, when they faced Talut, and when they faced Goliath, Jalut, the giant, and his giant army, they made dua. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. Our Lord, pour upon us patience and make our feet firm and give us victory over the disbelieving folks. This small group of people, there was one young child with them. His name was Dawood. This is Prophet Dawood when he was young. Right? So now, this young child, he was very good at slingshot. You know slingshot, right? When we used to be young, we used to play with it. It's very dangerous. You have to play with it in an open field. You cannot play with it in the city because you can hurt somebody. طيب. Now, Dawood alayhi salam, he had a showdown with Goliath, the giant. Of course, Goliath is going to look at him. Are you kidding me? You're too young to face me. Allahu Akbar. So it's not about being young or old. No. The knowledge that Allah has given you, subhanallah. He hit him with the slingshot, he killed him. Done deal. And then what happened? They defeated his army. Allahu Akbar. And then after that, Allah has given Dawood kingdom. Because Dawood alayhi salam, he was a king and he was also a prophet. And from his lineage comes who? Sulaiman, peace be upon him. His son. And his son was also a king and a prophet. You see. So it's not, ikhwan, it's not about numbers. It's not about numbers. It's about being upon the truth, being patient, having iman, having tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and being firm. This is what matters. طيب, I was thinking about that, so I wanted to share that with you. طيب. The Shaykh, he said, well, the one who had no worldly status was considered lowly and degraded. They would even apply this concept to the divine message which Allah gives to whom He wills. They held that the message should only be given to one of the rich and not to the one from among the poor. That is why they said Allah did not find anyone but the orphan of Abu Talib. The orphan of Abu Talib. Who is the orphan of Abu Talib? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because his father, he died while he has not reached what? Puberty. That's an orphan. This is how you define an orphan. Because a lot of people, they think an orphan is someone that lost his mother. No, the one who lost his father. Because the father is the breadwinner in the family. The breadwinner. The one who provides, and he's the one who provides, and he is the protector and the provider of the family. So, an orphan is a baby or a child who lost his father before he reached puberty. Before he reached puberty, that will be considered an orphan. But after puberty, he will not be considered an orphan. طيب. So they said, that is why they said Allah did not find anyone but the orphan of Abu Talib to give his message to. Look at these foolish people. Allah says, وَقَالُوا لَوْلَا نُزِّلَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنُ عَلَى رَجُلٍ مِّنَ الْقَرْيَتَيْنِ عَظِيمٍ. And they said, why is this Qur'an not sent down to some great man of the two towns? Surah Zukhruf. The two towns they are talking about here is Mecca and Ta'if. And the man they were referring to was either Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira in Mecca, or Habib ibn Amr al-Taqafi, or it is said Urwa ibn Mas'ud in Ta'if. They believe that the message were to have been sent down to one of these two men. He would have been more befitting of the message. But as for it being given to a poor orphan, i.e. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then this was not befitting. Naam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَهُمْ يَقْسِمُونَ رَحْمَةَ رَبِّكَ. Are they the ones who will distribute the mercy of your Lord? This means they are interfering with the actions of Allah, seeking to distribute His mercy, since they do not rely on Allah's distribution of His mercy. Whereas Allah said, Allahu a'lamu haytu yaj'alu risalata. Allah knows best with whom He has placed His message. Allah knows, because Allah, from His name, Al-Hakim, the All-Wise. And the All-Wise is the one who places things in their proper place. So if He chose Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He chose him for a reason. He was the best of them all. The best of all the Arabs. The best of Quraysh. The tribe of Quraysh, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the best of them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all beneficial knowledge and righteous action. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. صلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خير.